Hi, I'm David Dean Hastings, and today we'll be talking about distance. Distance in fighting is very important. Sometimes the difference between winning and losing the engagement is the proper distance. Either you are in range to affect an attack, or you're not. So getting the right distance is very important. And throughout our lives, we've grown accustomed to the reach of our hand, as in grabbing a doorknob to turn the doorknob. You know how long the reach of your arm is. But now we're asking you to do the same kind of judgment of distance with a 3-foot piece of steel in your hand. So there needs to be an understanding of what that distance is. So we're going to have to retrain your brain to figure out how long you have to adjust for to make that proper distance change. Just a brief word about the materials I'm using today. I borrowed this design from a fight master named David Woolley from the Society of American Fight Directors, wherein he has a step ladder and several bungee cords wrapped around the hilt of the rapier and attached to the step stool, and it has a bit of a free-floating movement because of the bungee cords. But you don't need this kind of mechanism to do this rehearsal at home if you have a broom handle or, again, pool noodle or any number of sword substitutes, and you put it on top of a dresser or some kind of shelf with a book or stack of books on top of the end and have it sticking toward you, it will have the same effect. So what is the proper distance for most of our engagements? Well, what I want to do is I want to get close enough to my partner's blade where I can engage with a parry, a proper parry, with their blade. Let's say they've just done an attack, so they have a straightened arm. I'm executing a proper parry, so I have a bent arm. And the overlap of their foible to my fort should be roughly 3 to 4 inches. So I'm going to be using my mechanism right here as my partner. I'm going to get into a position where I'm in my on-guard stance, and I have roughly about 1 foot of distance between my torso and my point of my opponent. I don't have a ruler, it's not an exact science, but it should be a decent amount of distance here, about 1 foot. My hips and shoulders are facing my partner, and I will bring up offline my parry and then moving it across my body, engaging with the foible and moving it offline so it is no longer pointed at me. There should be about 3 or 4 inches of the foible past my fort in the proper parry position. Most of the time we will be executing this in a parry of 4. Because it moves across my body, it's a little bit more difficult to do. Again, I want those 3 to 4 inches here. But truthfully, if you're doing your parries properly, it shouldn't matter if you're executing that parry of 3 or the parry of 4. I'm engaging my true edge with their false edge, and I'm moving it offline so it's no longer pointed at me, and you still have that 3 to 4 inches of foible past my fort. I disengage from their blade, I avoid my partner's face, and then I could come back online with my point pointed at their torso, avoiding their face completely. Therefore, I have created this distance that I cannot touch my partner without stepping forward, they can't touch me without stepping forward, so our distance is a proper distance for most of our engagements.